And it says we're live. Hello, everyone. My son's clapping that I'm finally online. Alrighty. It's been a while. Well, it's been a long while. Caught COVID right after I decided to start streaming again. That threw everything in disarray. But we're back. Hopefully, I can keep a little bit more frequent schedule. Definitely planning to. Trying to do every other week. We'll see if that is manageable. But yeah, so loads and loads and loads and loads of things have happened in the last couple of months. Been a very busy time. Mostly been working on Godot 4, as everybody knows who follows me. Mostly doing rendering work in preparation to to get out of beta, basically. And most of that work has been in restructuring a lot of the internals of the rendering engine, so that we can do the next series of improvements to both the desktop and the mobile renderer. So yeah, that was a bigger task than we expected. But we're getting there. Or actually, we've pretty much gotten there, which now means that other people are taking certain things to the next level. And I'm back on VR at the moment, which I'm really thrilled about. So yeah, more news on that soon, I hope. For those of you guys who follow some of the other members, obviously, some really great progress from David Snowpack, who is working on WebXR and bringing WebXR support to Godot 4. A big part of that was waiting for OpenGL support, because for WebXR we still need OpenGL. That's all work from Clayjohn, who has been hard at work during the whole year on getting the OpenGL renderer in Godot 4 to work. And David is now busy adding all sorts of stuff to the OpenGL renderer to make it support XR. And not just WebXR, a lot of the work that he's doing will also mean that we should have OpenGL support for desktop OpenXR as well, which is pretty cool. The other thing, obviously, or the other person I would like to give a shout out to is Malcolm, who has been helping me loads and loads and loads on our XR tools library. So, obviously that was something that I set up over the last couple of years, and sort of formed the framework for most of my my projects, or came out of actually most of my projects. Many of the tutorial series that I did, eventually the logic there found its way into XR tools. And Malcolm, in the last couple of months, has been taking that and just spending a lot of time improving on it, making it much more capable, adding lots of features to it. So yeah, I'm incredibly thrilled that he's helping out there and just doing really quality work. Means that I can keep concentrating on the core engine, which is really cool. Hi Indiology, by the way, and thank you. We do try. So yeah, video wise, obviously it's been very quiet on my channel this year, mainly just because I've been way too busy. However, I did manage to get the introduction video for OpenXR, the original one earlier in the year, to get everything up and running on Godot 3, and then of course a couple of days ago the Godot 4 OpenXR tutorial, or getting started tutorial on my site, which has been really well received. It's really some very good feedback on that. A lot of people trying out XR in Godot 4. Obviously, it is still a beta. Hope everybody realizes that. We still have quite a bit of a ways to go to work out some of the kinks. But most of it is all working, which is quite cool. So Also on that front, Malcolm and I have been very busy porting XR tools to Godot 4 as well. And that's actually proving to be a good test case to find out where still the iffy bits are. And actually, most of the iffy bits are not even with the XR part of Godot. They are with the stuff that we're using in the background. So there are some issues with background loading that we have to sort out and figure out how that exactly has changed. And some issues. What was the other one that was big? Yeah, some issues around physics. The way that we use physics is not completely compatible between Godot 3 and 4. And again, you know, that's also with the fact that Godot 4 is very radically changed in many ways. GGScript has had a huge overhaul. An overhaul for the better, absolutely. The more that I work in Godot 4, every time that I go back to Godot 3, I sort of go like, I'm missing this little bit of features or functionality. But it is a big change. Now, that's not to scare anybody off who's worked with Godot 3 for many years and sort of goes like, I have to learn everything again in Godot 4. It's not that bad. It's just mostly syntax changes and just improvements in the syntax. And a whole bunch of things that just have been renamed to be more logical and more consistent. So it's really one of those things where when you switch to Godot 4, it takes a week or two to sort of learn some of the new names, and then you know, it's becomes second nature again. A good example, for instance, is spatial is gone. It's now called Node 3D, and we have a Node 2D, and we have we have a camera 3D, I think now, and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of on XR for, you know, AR VR has been replaced by XR, so now we have XR camera 3D and XR origin 3D. So there's a lot more consistency in naming, which is quite cool. So yeah. All right, hang on. I just need to. Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought for a minute that my stream wasn't running because my screen on the left where I'm checking whether everything is up and running was standing still. So yeah, in chat, please let me know if everything is good and if the audio is good. I had some weird issues with audio in the beginning as well. Let's make sure that is good. Hey, Ishmael, long time no see, man. How are you? Bass Street's back. Well, that's one way to put it. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do tonight, because it's been a while since I even worked on my dungeon project. It's been a while since I streamed. So yeah, I really just want to make it a bit of a chill stream and just, you know, maybe answer some questions if people ask questions about what's going on, and maybe show one or two things, and slowly get back into the dungeon game. Now, on the subject of the dungeon game, obviously the last stream I was working on just the loading screen or the startup screen, you know, where you start and you get your interface. Now, one of the things that I'm already sort of thinking about, because I happen to have been working on that today, is the interaction with the menu is right now through a laser pointer, which is a function that's been in XR Tools for quite a bit of time. I'm using XR Tools in this project as well. But I was experimenting today with actually touching your fingers on the interface and selecting things that way, which is kind of cool. But might not work well with this type of interface. I might go that way for the game itself. I'm not sure yet. However, we got the startup screen, just an environment. At some point, I need to make this rock face nicer and texture it and all that sort of stuff. But that I am not too worried about. Yeah, we should catch up, Ishmael. Absolutely. And hi, Turu. Nice of you to join. Yeah, hit me up tomorrow or something, Ishmir. We'll have a chat on Discord. So yeah, so at some point I need to just clean this up and make actually something about this entrance and stuff like that. But today I sort of wanted to look at actually starting a game. So I've disabled all the menu options that we currently don't support yet. New game at this point in time should just result in our game loading. However, our game currently, and I need to remember where everything is, because that's our menu. So I think the original game is hidden here. Maybe? No. It must be just the main one. Yeah, there we go. So that all needs to get moved into an actual level scene. But obviously, our game is a third-person game where with the mouse we control our characters. Now, I am of two minds on how to proceed with this. The first is to make this like a God Mode VR game where it's basically the same mechanism. You are controlling the characters and you're looking down on them in third person, which can work really nice in VR. And that's what what's that mouse game called? Well, there's a bunch of games that do that, where you're controlling your characters from a third person. And seeing that this is a tile-based game, that probably is a good idea. The other approach that I have been thinking about, which is more immersive and potentially more fun, is that you're actually taking the persona of the character that's currently playing. And in that scenario also, you would only control your character, which I'm probably going to do anyway. So if you have multiple characters, you would be in a multiplayer environment. If you're playing it single player, you just control one adventurer that goes through the dungeon. And obviously our enemies will be leveled up accordingly. Or, you might have less enemies to deal with at any given time. So the nice thing about that is when you're actually the person, even though we're not doing any direct motion, we're doing turn-based, and we're doing the movement. And one of the things that I found really interesting there, and I don't know, can I still run this scene standalone? I think so. Yeah, so what we obviously had made was that, depending on the number of action points that we had, not sure why I can't move. That works. But I can't move that way anymore. That's interesting. Why not? Huh. Well, something broken since I started on this. That's interesting. I wonder why, because I can move this way just fine. But my point is that we are selecting a place where we're moving to. Now, one of the nice things about that is when you look at VR generally working with we have one broken. I think it's just that tile that's broken somehow. Anyway, so when you look at VR games, you generally have two forms of locomotion outside of actually walking around your room. One is to actually control your character with the joystick on your controller, which very often makes people sick. And the other is teleport, which is usually breaks immersion. But for a game like this, that actually, I am on my last step. That actually makes a lot more sense, because that is basically how you are moving in your turn. Now, the other thing that makes making this a first-person game interesting is that the attacks that the characters need to do I was thinking about making that sort of card based, where you have a number of cards that give you the attacks that you can play, and you select the card that you're playing to do your attack, or do a recovery, or do something else. And then some cards you can play once, some cards you can play every turn, etc., etc. Which is a standard trope in these sort of games. But being first person, having those cards sort of in front of you, and then selecting a card and having your character act out that action could look very cool in first person mode. Now, I guess that could also work in a third person mode. And imagine for a minute that we're actually in our headset, and we're probably closer to our character, but we can look around from where we are as the God player, and we are controlling our character through our laser pointer, telling it where to go. And we have our cards in front of us, and we can select the cards and say, play this card, play this card. So yeah, I'm of two minds there of what will be interesting. All right, I'm just going to do a refresh here. Why do I get ads for my own stream? I just want to know if how delayed I am, because it seems to be that I'm pretty delayed. But that could just be that this thing is being annoying. No, I think that was just because my computer didn't start the stream quickly enough. That is really confusing. Okay. So yeah, we basically have those two options for how we deal with the game. And the other reason why I'm contemplating making it third person is the game is already third person. So changing this into a VR game would seem a lot more easy to do than moving into first person. So maybe I'll start with that and just see how that goes. And then if I like it, keep it. And if I don't, then I can always go to first person. Yeah, we could definitely. Oh, now all of a sudden I can move there. So what changed that made that work? Wasn't my dragon supposed to attack me? I can't remember how far I got with it. Oh yeah, he was actually shooting something. Not that it did anything, but at least I don't think it does anything. Yeah, he still. Oh no, my character died. Okay, let's kill my other character. Boing. That was right. Last time we were working on the attack of the bad guy. Boom. And then it crashes because I don't have a game over check yet. Ha. Okay, you can see that I haven't worked on this for a little while. All right, so we're gonna have to remove that or change that. I guess that means that we need to restart. Or recreate this setup. That's a good one. Did I? Oh, I was thinking about adding some background music to it. That's something that we were working on last time. I can't remember. Assets. I must have been experimenting with that. Okay. Well, that's right. Oh yeah, we did have some dungeon music. Oh yeah, because in here we did have the music, didn't we? What is that? Yeah, we had the background music playing in here. We had a nice little dungeon song going that we downloaded somewhere. I can't even remember where. But anyway. Okay. So let's see. So in worlds, we're going to create a new folder. I'm going to call that test level for now, but it might actually eventually become our real one. Okay, and then we need to go and inherit a new world-based scene. There we go. And let's go and save that in here as test level. Okay. And while we're at it, I probably want to extend this script like that. Okay. So now how did the environment work with this? Because I haven't built that yet here, have I? Did we build a scene loader yet? No, we didn't even build a scene loader yet. Ha! Ooh, look at that. I'm not even as far as I thought I was. So that's interesting. So here we have an environment that is... It's actually a standard black environment, and I'm actually happy with that. I don't really care about that. So, I guess I've written these a bunch of times. I think we're going to keep it simple and not worry about background loading at this point in time. At some point, I want to add that back in, but I've done that so many times. That's something that I'm probably going to do off camera, because that's just repeating stuff that I have done more than often enough. Okay. So, I think that's a string, and that's path. Actually, I don't want that underscore load scene. I just want to go and make that load scene. I think that also means that we want to have a current scene, which is going to become world/main. So that is our current one, because we're going to remove that when we load in our new scene. That's right. That needs to be an on ready bar. Oh, and it really wants that to be get node. Come on, work with me. World. There we go. Probably better. I think that auto notation should work as well, but not sure why it was. Maybe it was just complaining because I hadn't got the on ready there yet, and that was all that it didn't care about, or did it care about? All right. Now, if I remember correctly, yeah, because I have got nothing of this set up yet. That's interesting. So if we go to our main menu scene, we don't do anything here yet. We've got a quit. That's fine. Let's just, yeah. Oh, no longer need to print test there. So yeah, that's our menu that we're running. Oh yeah, that's because we're running that inside of there. Right, so on our world base, we're going to add a signal, pullback signal for load scene. I think we can add a path name there. And that should allow us, let me see, in the constructs, we should now, I've been working in C too much. There we go. So yeah, var path. So I actually want to I'm just gonna directly call the load scene function there. All right, cool. And we have to then remember to always hook that signal up when we change our scene, because that's going to be a callback. For that. All right, so we actually need to do the same thing here. Which means that I can do a emit signal load scene, and we're just going to go and say go and load my test scene. So eventually I want to expand on this, that we might have a game select screen in between or something like that. Sure. But for now, we're just going to directly go into loading our new scene that we want. Now, this is our 2D menu that's running in our viewport that we're showing. So that needs to then be hooked up in here, which means that we're going to go and do load scene. And in this case, it's going to be underscore, or I actually like to call that on, oops, load scene. So let's go and create that function. Path. And here we're going to again emit the signal. Load scene. So we're now clicking our button in our viewport. That triggers our signal, which then triggers calling this method, which then again emits a signal, but now on our main menu world node, which then calls the actual load scene that we want to do. Hi, Filippo. How are you going? Philip. So, yeah. In theory, that should work. Okay, so all right, so we're going to make this a very simple loader. Again, at some point in time, I'll pretty it all up, and that actually reminds me, for people who haven't seen that yet, just a small little side track. When we're looking at Godot XR tools, you guys will see that there's a whole project in here right now. And I guess we could have actually stolen the load function from here, because this is really the sort of loader that I want to build into this project as well, where you can see that there's a lot more going on than what we're about to do. This does all the background loading. We're fading the screen to black, then then removing our current world, then fading our screen to an actual loading screen, then triggering the load of the new scene. Once it's loaded, fade to black again, add or instance a new scene, and then fade to the new scene. So there's a nice little back and forth. And I think in this one, there's even that you have to press a button on your controller before you start the next scene, so that we have a moment where we're certain that when the person loads into the new scene, that all the tracking is current. Because that's a big problem that we have in many of the VR games is we start the game, our headset is still lying on the ground, or it's, you know, on the table outside of view of the tracking information. And we load into a game in a really weird spot, like on the floor or something like that. And this approach kind of solves that, because the player isn't going to press the button until they actually have the headset on and are ready to start playing. And that also means that that moment we can say, hey, that person is, you know, he's sitting down or standing up or however he's playing. We know that that is the rest position of the player. So, yeah, I am going to add this into here eventually, but for now we're going to make a much simpler where we're simply going to say new scene is load path, so that loads our resource in. That will freeze the application. That's not threaded, so it's going to block. I'm going to say if new scene, if that was successful, we're going to say our scene is new scene. That's actually do packs scene, if I'm not mistaken. That should mean that I can actually see what we need to do. So we're going to instance our new scene. Actually, I can do that like this. Boom. And we're first going to do, if we have a current scene, then remove child current scene. That doesn't matter. So we're going to remove the old scene, instance a new scene, add child current scene. Now we need to do a little bit more there, I think. Do we need to analyze signals? I think if we remove, actually that also means that I need to do current scene.q delete, I believe. I always unregister my signals here, but I'm actually wondering if I need to do that. Might not. Anyway, we do need to connect a few things. That doesn't have a type, so it doesn't know any better. Well, do we have a... Oops. You can call that, I want to have that at the top, world base. Which means that we should be able to type this as world base, which then means that we should be seeing. Oh, now that doesn't auto-complete our signals anymore, really? Yeah. This is interesting. I'm calling enable. Oh yeah, the enable pointer is over here. Okay. Oh, that actually kind of makes sense because we always need to use our pointers. There's no reason to disconnect that. Okay. Now the thing that I'm thinking about right now is, yeah, I think what I need to do, and that's something that I'm actually going to put on my world base again. Where's my world base? Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Punk. And I'm actually going to give that our AR. Player. AR origin. Class. Scenes. That's just to make sure that that function exists. And actually, I don't want an underscore in there because we're calling it from outside. I should probably close a few things so I know what's going on there. So now I should be able to do that. Okay, and I'm mostly sending that through because that allows us to reposition the player to a starting position. But I'm not going to worry about that just yet. It also means that just for consistency's sake, if our current scene was loaded successfully, which hopefully it did, because else we have a problem, I'm going to go and do that. All right. So now if I click my new game, I should be going to my new level. Now, we don't have anything in there yet. That is our... Okay, so we got a mountain. And that's all good. Just having a look at, do we need anything specific in here? I don't think so. Actually interesting is that, oh yeah, that has the normal background as well, even though we're running with a black background in the game, but that's all right. I'm just gonna dump our maze in there. Now, again, what am I doing here? But that's just on our global state then, right? Okay, so we're not going to bother with that. That's fine. But we do need that. And right now we don't have any characters, so we're just going to build our maze. Okay. So in our test level, we're going to go and add our maze in. Okay. And when we look at here, we have room folder, enemy folder, and an enemy container. So we do need to create our enemy container spatial. There we go. So now we can go and select our room folder. So that I believe is in here. So I guess that's dungeon 1. Then our enemy folder. No, scenes, characters, enemy characters. I guess that's how we find those guys. And enemy container. Now I'm also guessing that we need our start room. And that's to make sure that we always have the proper room there. Okay. So okay. I guess that was room 00. I think so. Yeah, that's good enough. Hmm. Is there a way to make documentation for GTX attributes visible inside the help pages in the editor? I don't know how currently because I haven't really been looking into it, but I do remember that that was something um, that was part of the design. I just don't know if that part is working yet or who's working on that right now. I've not been that involved with GD extensions in the last couple of months. Ever since we moved OpenXR into the core, I haven't had a reason to play around with it much. I do want to get back into it at some point. But yeah, I don't know the answer to your question off the top of my head, I'm afraid. So a good one to ask on the GT extension channel on the contributors chat. All right. Now, in theory, we should be able to run this. Oh yeah, I had music. That's right. Let me. Oh, and it's actually coming through. Okay. I hope that's not too loud because I probably should change the settings for that. And it still needs to start up my XR environment. There we go. Come on, let me get my hands. There we go. So that is going to freeze everything up while it loads, or it's going to break somewhere. It broke somewhere. Oh, there we go. Now, one thing that was really interesting there was kept playing the music even when it was loading. That was impressive. All right, so it didn't like Q delete. I thought I was Q3. Oh, there we go. By the way, the fact that I was in the wrong place was one of those reasons that because I didn't have my headset in the right place, the game didn't start in the right place. So that's one of those situations where it makes a lot of sense to what was I going to say? It makes a lot of sense to have that loading screen that expects you to first press a button before you continue. Barderino, people always ask me questions and I don't mind, you know, they do that on Twitter. And, you know, I actually make sure that I am online on the XR channel on the Godot Discord, you know, at least, like, you know, like an hour a day. And I try to answer whatever questions come up there. Usually I answer them way too late. Other people have already answered them and I scroll down and go, oh, someone already answered that one. And that's also my best advice when you are working with OpenXR is join the Godot Discord. The link is, let me have a look, should be on the Godot site, community, and then Discord. Just follow the link to Discord. So that's a good place to always ask questions, especially if you are doing stuff with OpenXR. Hey, Malcolm. Hi, how you going, man? Nice to see you in. You missed the beginning where I was mentioning about all the work you're doing on XR tools. It's really cool. Yeah, I think the threaded scene loader, adding that in a way that's more easy to import into into, you know, your own projects or, you know, a user's project. That's probably a nice one to have in XR tools to just I actually think when you look at what I've called construct in this project, and what do we call it in Godot XR? That's staging. So basically, when you look at our staging scene, and right now, like the loader is a singleton, if I'm not mistaken, the resource loader itself. We can actually make that a node in the staging scene, because the staging scene loads and is never unloaded. So it is, for lack of a better word, it is global state. So we could just put it in there, and then maybe make the staging an object in XR tools. So, because that contains our whole basic setup. And that would really be, I think, a pretty neat way to do it. Especially if the loading screen itself, I don't know, do we have that as a separate scene? Or I think so. Yeah, so our loading scene here is external. So that would be something that would be in your project itself. So in the staging, it's just a spatial node into which you add the loading screen. But the loading screen itself is something that then can easily be replaced out. You know, we might have our default loading screen in XR tools as well. So that would probably be a nice way to do it. I would even go so far that the staging in our main project is still there, but it's inherited from a base staging class in XR tools that has all the loading logic. That would actually be a nice way to organize that, because that would mean indeed that we have a lot of that logic standard in XR tools. And that would save a lot of people having to reinvent that wheel. It's not a bad idea, actually. Hey, Drensoft, how you going? Yep, I am doing a stream for the first time in months. I'm doing fine, thanks. Yeah, trying to get back into doing this, and I'm not as fluent as I was before. I have to get back into it a little bit. But we're having fun. So yeah, we're not doing the whole background loading thing here, but if we do add the XR staging to, or the staging logic to XR tools, I just need to update it here, and I've got it, which is, I might spend some time on that later in the week. Let's see if that was enough to fix things. I need to, actually, can I? No, I need to do it in here. Hold on a sec. It is nice music, I do have to admit. I think it's CC0 music, so I shouldn't be getting into trouble. But I think, here we go. That flickering is really interesting, by the way. We'll look in a minute what that is as well, because that's a new problem. Where am I? Audio. So we're audio. We don't care about input. We do care about that. I'm gonna go and send that to. Okay, so now I still do hear it here. Now you guys should be hearing it still there. Oh no, I muted that. I'm going to do that, but I'm gonna make it a lot softer. So yeah, guys, let me know if the audio is coming through okay for that, because I can't hear what's going on the stream. We do have a feature request, Malcolm. Absolutely. Okay, so I still hear the music on my headset, but that's not adjusted by the stream. So yeah, guys, let me know if the music is not too loud and is doing okay. Okay, so what am I doing? Oh yeah, I was testing if this now works. Okay, so this is again flashing like crazy. I don't know why. Because it's actually flashing inside of my No, it's fine. I'm not sure what that is, but I do seem to have a problem. I'm also facing the wrong way still. Didn't I? No, I didn't do something yet to reset it. Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, I did do it. Okay, I need to find out what it is, how I did that. So, new game. There we go. Okay, so everything holds this time. Is it on a breakpoint again? Doesn't look like it. Actually, I've seen my pointer thing. So I would say that my best guess is that we are actually in our scene. But trying to see if it breaks something. But I would say that we are missing a light. Okay. We're obviously forgetting to do something. Either we're not building up our the raised strobe light node. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. So that is really weird. I'm wondering if it is a tracking issue, but I'm gonna head it on my head. So, well, one problem at a time. Okay. Oh yeah, that's just the hands that we have. Okay, that's just standard scripts, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Did I? That's also the standard one. Did I get the pointers? I am really confused how it recentered itself. Okay, let's have a look here. What else have we got here? So we got an environment here, which is also black. All right. So I have a start level and a global state. I want to be careful introducing that until we actually have a character. All right. Well, let's see if it makes a difference. Yeah. Let's add that function. What does that need? That's just going to be character. Okay. I'm going to pass there for now. Do I need to do anything specific? No, because here I do my camera change. I made a camera follow, but that's going to change. Actually, I do want to put this in so that I don't forget about that. Because obviously we do want to position our player at some distance from the character that's now selected. Now the other thing that I want to do is in here, node, connect, okay. Main, let's go starter level. And it also means that we're going to go and put our starting character in there. So we're going to do, can I rename this test level as well? And now I want to go and say spatial. That's going to be player characters. Now, obviously, I could make another base class there, which I probably will be doing because a lot of this will be repeated for every level. I guess it's that one. We don't care about the camera rig in this case because we have our XR character. Now, just for fun, I'm just going to put an Omni light in here, just in case that's our problem. So that at least we have that. Now, why is our character all sunk into the bottom? Are these ones up? Yep. Is that the same with this guy? Yep. So let's repeat that and say you are 1 up. Our enemies are going to go 1 up. Go. All right, let's try again and see if this time we are going to be fine. See, we're still raving. Okay, now one thing that I find really interesting, once I've got both my see, now all of a sudden I got up. Did I do some sort of timer thing in there? Okay, so we are going to, oh, I'm on the ground. Okay. Hello, dragon. What am I on the ground? That's because everything is, I'm sitting down, so I'm pretty low. And I had to move my character 1 up. So yeah, I am obviously on the ground. All right, that's fine. It's perfectly fine, actually, because that explains that. That also gives me a good reason to say that I need a spawn point. All right. So, nice. Let's go to our world base. We're going to add a spatial. Player spawn point. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. I don't really want to change that script because that's one of our XR scripts. So I'm probably going to put it into my base class here. And then just send that through. Okay. So we're going to have a helper function here. It's going to be position player. And that is going to be getting the player itself. And then we're going to say, where do we want the player to stand? I'm actually going to give that a transform. That's right, we are in Godot 3, so there's no transform 3D, it's still called transform. Okay. Okay. That's fine. So let me think. So we want the player to be in that position. Now, one of the problems that we have, and that a lot of people always run into, is when you're doing room scale, like I have here, which I can't really demonstrate because I don't have my camera set up right. But basically, my whole living room here is a tracking space. So I've got my lighthouses set up on both ends of my room, and I can move around, which means that the center of my play space is somewhere in the middle of my room. So sorry, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say. Oh yeah, so the problem is that wherever your origin point is going to be relative to the center of my room. So I'm sitting about a meter and a half away from the center of my room, which means that if the origin is on the spawn point or on the place where I think my player is, I'm actually going to be 1.5 meters away from there. That's where my camera is going to be because that's where my camera is tracking. So we want to build some logic here that undoes that. Now, again, the problem that we do have here is that when we first load our game and our start is run for the first time, it is likely that the player isn't wearing their headset yet. Which again is not a problem that I'm going to deal with right now because we're going to just put my headset on my head before we start. But yeah, that is a problem. All right. So what we need to do now is based on where our camera is, we want our camera to actually be on top of the spawn point. So we want to move our origin point in the opposite direction. So yeah, that's going to be the fun of it. However, we want to do it in such a way that we ignore how high our camera is. And we want to ignore if our camera is, if I'm looking down or up, I want to just know what direction I'm looking at. So let's write that code, shall we not? So the first thing that we need to do is we need to get our, actually, I'm just going to call it transform. No, let's call it transform. So I want to get a child node from that. And here we do cheat a bit because we obviously know that that's going to be AR VR camera. We're building this for this setup. I'm not going to worry about someone renaming that camera at some point in time. So we're going to call that AR VR camera. Well, we're obviously going to return if we can't find the camera. Okay. So that's step one. Step two is we want to get the height of the camera gone. So we're going to say move height of camera. All right. So that's going to be camera transform dot origin dot y. It's going to be 0. So now our camera is on the floor. Cool. Then the next thing is we want to make sure that our camera is level. We don't want it looking down or up. So for that, we can do camera transform dot basis. Okay, we're actually going to make that a new variable forward vector 3. So our z component of our bases sign type node. Oh, it's just not being updated yet. Oh, haha. Get transform. There. When I get the transform there. Okay. So in this case, we want to do forward dot y tilt. All right, and now I need to have a search because I saw that there's a new function, but I don't know if that is actually available in here. Is it really going to make me do this the hard way? Probably is. What's this one? Bases from constant of pure rotation. Oh, that's Euler angles. That's not what I want. Well, the other thing that I could do. No. I guess I need, because then in Godot 4 there is now an option to actually create a basis, I think, from a direction. Because basically we want to have a look at function. There used to be a look at on basis as well. That's really interesting. Oh, well, I guess we're going to have to do it the hard way. Where's my... Here we go. So I always forget which way around some of these things are. So, first of all, forward or we don't have any. Okay, forward. All right. So up is obviously going to be up. So now we need to do right. 3 is forward dots cross vector 3 dot up dots normalized. All right, camera transform dot faces. Hopefully I did that right. Right. 3 dot up. Could be that the cross product is the wrong way around. We will find that out pretty quickly. All right. Cool. Yeah, I think it's forward cross up and not the other way around. I always forget that. Anyway. Hey, Rodzilla, how you going, man? Long time no see. Hope you're doing all right. All right, so what we now need to do is we need to take the inverse of that and apply it to our transform here. And I always forget which order that goes in. I think that we can say global transform is p transform times camera transform. But again, it might be the other way around. And this is going to be interesting because I could have my cross product the wrong way around, or I could do my multiplication the wrong way around. Both are going to give shockingly bad results. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to call position player, give it a player, and now we're going to say player spawn point dot get global. Why is that interpolated? We're not using the interpolated ones. Don't we have? Oh, that's just a property nowadays. Okay. So here, can I just do? I think that should work. Not sure. Yeah, property transfer. I don't know why the autocomplete didn't pick that up. Anyway, so important is we take this locally, but that's a global transform. Actually, I'm going to rename that to global to make it very clear that we're going to be positioning it globally, but we need to take that one out. So, and again, I might need to flip that the other way around. We'll see that quickly enough. I don't know. Okay. In theory, that should work. Well, we'll find that out pretty quickly. Now, look at the main scene. Yeah. So now we have a player spawn point in here, which is where we want to spawn our player. Now, we might be looking backwards, so we'll see that pretty quickly. In our test level, we obviously want our spawn point to be 1 high, so that we're, well, we probably actually want to have that a bit higher. And we're going to want to have that something like that. There we go. Now, eventually, we'll do something where when the character is selected, we reposition our player a certain distance away from that. Now, again, we might be looking the wrong way here. Now, just for fun, let's just add a camera here. I'm going to use the AR/VR camera. So we're actually looking that way. So we should be rotating that guy 90 degrees to look that way. All right. Don't want to keep that camera. Just not where we want the camera. Let's do the same thing for our starting scene. Let's say we want an AR/VR camera. Move that up so we can see that we're by default looking right, which we don't want to do. We want to look that way. But again, 90 degrees changed. All right. So whenever you define a node in a class that we then inherit, you can make changes to that node in the inherited class, but have the base class logic react to that. So by adding our spawn point in our base class, in our world base class, we now have something that we can place anywhere in our level for each individual level to say that's where our player needs to be when that level loads. Now, again, on the startup, we're going to possibly go wrong. We will see soon enough. But maybe it will be right immediately. Why is it doing that flickering? Let's see if it's... See, the moment that... I don't know why it's doing that. I need to figure that one out. So, we can see that everything is reversed. That means that we are doing our cross product. So that's how we tell that I've gotten that the wrong way around. So let's go and flip that over. It might actually be a left vector, by the way. I might have gotten that wrong. I should have really have just called them X, Y, and Z. Anyway, that should make sure that we are now okay, so now that looks a little better because we're in the right spot, but we're looking the wrong way. Let's start our new game and see if we have the same effect here. Where the hell are we? I can see we're underneath this bloody thing. So I would say that we also have our multiplication plot. I'm guessing. Let us see if I just had that the wrong way around. That would be very lucky if that is true. No, still looking the wrong way here. Because again, it shouldn't matter which way I'm looking. That doesn't seem to make a difference. All right, so how is that? was going wrong. Now, I think that's in part because on our normal level, I'm staying on the ground, and in our test level, I'm actually going up. And it looks like we're doing that in reverse. Hmm. Normalize that. So that looks good to me as well. Am I making a mistake in thinking that way, the wrong way around? No, I don't think so. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Take this one step at a time. Let's just position it at our spawn point, and then obviously I'm going to still be offset from that. But at least we can see whether that part of the logic works the way that I expect it to. Oh, that fell off. Yeah, whenever... What is going on? No, I am still underneath. So definitely my spawn point logic is not doing what I expect. I don't know if that's actually visible on the camera. I can actually see the underside of the level. All right. Oh. It would help if I change the global transform of the player and not of my level. All right. Let's see if we actually were doing things in the right way. That's hilarious. Okay, so. Okay, come on. There we go. So yeah, it's whenever the tracking of my hands is not there. All right. So. Oh, hello, dragons. So looked like I actually came in looking the right way here. Let me just restart it because it might not have been tracking when we started. Okay, so one problem, of course, is that we might, for the very first start, we might want to delay that a little bit. So we're going to do that in our constructs. In our ready, if we have a current scene, we're actually going to delay this. How does that work again? It's in yield, I think. Yeah. So we're just going to wait. Wait 5 seconds. You can actually also black out the screen at this point in time, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Okay, so our center logic is working fine. We just were running it too early. Now, I think 5 seconds might be a little bit overdone. Hey, Mrs. Ned. Yeah, the 2070 has been amazing. Mind you, it is a 2070 on a laptop, so it's not as powerful as one that is in a desktop, but it's bloody good. Okay, so I still have that problem that... There we go. We'll figure out what that is eventually, but for now, I'm not going to worry about that. So now, if I go to new game... All right. So I think that again is that I'm loading in on the start position there. So I got one frame where I'm actually not, where I'm rendering not in a good place. But then eventually it comes here and we can see things. Now we can also see that there are... Okay, that is super weird. That's a culling issue, I'm guessing. Can I not stop doing that? Why? Okay, that is really, really weird because it was culling out this starting floor. So there's my character standing where she is. So obviously my starting position for my character isn't good. But I'm in my dungeon. I look around, which is pretty cool. So I'm not happy about that. So there is obviously a Z fighting issue with that object. It's just possible that it's not actually designed to be at the end like this. It might be designed to have like a thing to the side there, but it's okay. Now the other thing is this is why it's good that I put my Omni light on, because my what do you call those things? My braziers aren't turning on. So let me have a look at how that works, because that might be part of the camera logic. Yeah, the prices of GPUs have gone insane the last couple of months / 2 years. Hopefully they'll come down again, which would be really nice. This laptop luckily is from before the pandemic, so and as far as indeed that we call that Z fighting, it's because there are two faces that are at exactly the same depth, so it's continuously deciding to draw one over the other, especially if the colors of those surfaces are different. You can really see that flickering as it's continuously flickering between the color of one polygon and color of the other polygon. That really is a modeling issue where you have to make sure that you don't have overlapping surfaces. The big problem, of course, is when you have two surfaces that don't overlap but that are very close to each other. When you go further away from that, eventually we'll still have problems telling apart which surface is in front of the other surface. That's computer graphics for you. It really is about designing your levels to not have that situation, unfortunately. Really puts a strain on your artist. Now, there is, and this is actually a good one that we haven't actually looked at. You can tweak your near and far planes to have more precision. So 500, is it? Did I put something in here? No, I didn't. This is actually a pretty old version of XR Tools, I think. That might even be too far away for what we're doing. Don't know. Anyway, I wanted to have a look at how did I do those braziers. I think, yeah, because I had my camera rig here. Obviously, my map. We don't have our map. That's something that I need to redo as well. Okay, that's just changing the camera position. That's fine. Okay, so it's not in there. Rooms, objects. Here we go. Okay. All right, so it is supposed to be doing this based on whether my character gets close enough. And I'm guessing because... Hold on, how am I doing that here? One has from... Which file is this? Can I see that? Room 00. Okay, which one am I using here? Room 00. So that has one of these guys. Okay, so actually we do need to start nicely in the middle. So 1 minus 1. So let's make sure that our mage here has the right starting position as well. Maybe that has something to do with it. Okay. And then we have our brazier here. Yeah, it has a pretty big detection radius, so is it because I'm just not paying enough attention? Not working? All right. Oh, I guess I need some moderators on my channel. Okay. So yeah, I really need to find out what that issue is. Okay, and we are nicely in there. Put that bridge here. Oh, there is a light there. It's just that the particle effect is not working. Okay, that's interesting. That is really interesting. Why is the particle effect not working? Ah, because I switched this thing to glass 2. Well, you know what? Let's keep running this one on glass 3 for now. Because we're doing desktop VR at the moment anyway. There we go. Now we got particles. Oh, that's... Oh, no, that's because of the background stuff. Or do we want to convert that to CPU particle? I kind of want to run in glass 2 for this. Yeah, it should call entered on that. Absolutely. All right. So I'm hoping that that is the only one that has a particle effect. Let me think. I'm going to be removing it anyway. I'm just going to make sure that that is called particles. It makes it much easier. Look at that. Go make sure that one. Oh no, old one. We're going to hide. It's not doing anything anyway. Okay, so. How comparable is this? I have no idea. That actually looks kind of comparable. Pretty sure that's the same. Local chords. We just have a visibility thing. Is that? That's interesting. So this is going to be drawing a mesh. What mesh are we drawing here? Because that obviously is where things start changing. So I'm going to go and copy my mesh from here to here. Paste. Okay. Because the rest is all just... Oh, I do want this to be emitting so we can see that, yay, something's happening. Very good. But now we need to copy over everything from particles material that is going to be important for this. Okay. That's a good question. Emission shape. What do we have as an emission shape here? Point. Okay, so that stays the same. Flags. I think that that is not important. No. Direction. That is going to be important. So we're going to throw them upwards. And spread is 1. So up 0 and spread 1. Doesn't seem to be doing much because we still have gravity. Yeah, gravity needs to be zeroed out. No more gravity. Boom. That's another problem, of course, that one is there, that one is there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put it over there. We're going to go to our transform. We're going to go say 0, 0, 0, boom. And then back here, and that should place it correctly. There we go. All right. Direction. I'm guessing that we don't have velocity in there. Okay. Hey Ivan, how you going? Nice of you to join. How are we in time? I got about an hour left. Okay, so angular velocity is 0. That's correct, but our linear velocity needs to be -3. So let's see if that. It does anything. It doesn't do anything yet. Okay. Oh, initial velocity 2.5. Okay. 2.5. Is that doing something? There we go. Yay. Starting to look like something. All right. So now I want my scale, and that one I'm going to copy. Wait. What are the other settings? Scale 1 and then curve. I'm hoping that scale here is also on a curve. Yes, it is. So I should be able to. Why can't I copy that? Scale curve. Copy. Scale curve. Okay, it doesn't like that. That is annoying. Why not? It's a curve texture. Oh, and that is just a normal curve. Okay. Yeah, points. at points. Let's see, what does that look like? That just starts up. Why is that actually a texture? That should have been a normal curve, right? Haha. So maybe we're just going to go and copy this in here. Paste. There we go. All right, so that goes up. Starting to look really scary right now. Okay, 0, 20. 0, 20, perfect. All right. Color. Copy our gradient texture. Color. Why will that not copy? That's so weird. Copy. Oh, this is just new gray. Okay, so we're just not using a texture here, but we are using the gradient. So copy that and paste in here. Boom. Ooh. Okay. I have no idea how close that is to the original, but it's starting to work. I don't think I've got any other settings that are important. Interestingly, that we don't have an AABB. All right, let's get rid of that. Goodbye old particles. We have our new particles. Now I do think that this is key. Ah, that looks very close to the original, if I remember correctly. And 15 particles isn't a lot, so even for CPU particles, I think that is fine. At some point, I'll make something nicer out of that. All right. We have a working torch. So let's have a look. See if that is doing what it should be doing. Why is it not? No, my. Okay. Let's go. All right. Still not working. Okay, let's concentrate because we do have our Omnilight at the moment as our backup. But I do think, because the other ones, like that one, is supposed to be on. It does look like there's light there, so that's good. Let's just see if we can make our character move so that we can just make our pointer work as a the same as the mouse. All right, and then worry about that later. We can turn it off for now. Yeah, we got particles emitting. It's false. Oh, we already turned it off on our ready, so that's really good. Oh, that's why. Okay. That is why. Ooh. This one. Okay. All right. Emitting. Great. And light off. We're gonna say emitting. There we go. I don't think we used a reset. That should make that work. All right. All right, so now to remember, project settings, auto load. So we have our mouse handler. So we need to redo our mouse handler. Okay. All right, so before I do anything else, I just want to have another look here. Okay, so we still have our UI. That needs to be redone. And that, I'll leave those in there, even though we don't use them anymore. I don't want to delete them until we're ready. So, where's our mouse helpers? No. Script is empty. There's nothing in there. So, actually, let's double check if that really is empty. Can we open the file manager? That really is empty. Okay. And we want to get rid of it. Okay. Oh, because that is part of our, that's right. I put most of our add-on logic in here. So auto load mouse handler. What are we doing here? So we just need to repeat that on our we already have our right, how do we go with that? Because we have our pointer functions here. And that is doing all our standard logic. Okay. And we keep that all in for our normal logic. But I think we want to enhance that a bit. Okay. First things first. Project settings. We are actually going to remove our mouse handler because we're not going to use that one anymore. That's for if we're not in VR. I'm not going to delete it because maybe I'll change it back at some point. However, on our function pointer, we're going to say extend script. And we're going to do that. Seems, yeah, I'm just going to put it over here. Function pointer. Okay, great. All right, so we're going to do our process here. No, it's not super. What is it again? I always forget that. It just, yeah. Okay. Now, this should be pretty safe to do. Okay. We should be able to say if this is enabled and we're colliding. That also means that I first want to go over here. Has it undone? Yep, let's do that first. Okay, so that looks good. That looks good. Oh yeah, that one is good to just have 0 because we're not offsetting that. Happy about that. Just want to select all these in case. Okay. Okay. Might need to do collide with areas as well. I can't remember if I think they're areas. Yeah. So we want to put collide with areas on. Now, the moment that I am going to select our auto scripts that we just created, then everything's going to reset here. Boom. So same thing here. Da-da-dum. Okay. That should do that. Okay. Mouse. You know what? Let's close what we don't want right now. So we don't want you. Don't want you. Don't want you. We don't want you. We don't want you. Something to drink. Ugh. I have not been able to test the Meta Pro. I wish I was that lucky. I think being in Australia sort of means that I kind of miss all the events where you could potentially go and check that sort of thing out. And Smitner, you're welcome for that. It was a lot of fun making that tutorial video, and hoping that more will come soon. Okay, don't worry about that right now. Not gonna worry about that right now. I just want to close a whole bunch of things that are getting in the way. So yeah, we're obviously gonna have to change all that, because that's now working on the input mouse button. All right. Mouse handler. That's the one that I needed to look at. So. Okay. We probably so we obviously need that. Here, what I want to do is if enabled and colliding. Else if intersects with. So if we were intersecting last time, whether it's because we're now no longer enabled or we're no longer colliding, I want to make sure that we are going to do this. Okay. All right. we are hitting something. All right, let's just copy this and then we'll change it for what it needs to be. We can remove that, but we now need to change that bit because that's no longer that function. It's something here. So I think it's get collider that we need to do. Oops. Ray cast dot get. What was it? Yeah, get collider. Oh, that's because I always forget that. There we go. Now it's working. No, it doesn't. Oh, we know that that's going to be that. So, all good. And then it's going to be if we're not that, that's okay. So we're just going to track what we're colliding with, and then we're going to say if we have that method. So this is still going to run for things that are not part of our game, but we wouldn't have those things. Magnus, no, I haven't converted it to Godot 4, and I'm not planning to do that. Maybe at all. Because there isn't any benefit to converting it to Godot 4 with what I'm planning to do. And it would just mean redoing a whole bunch of things. So at some point I want to start, you know, a future project in Godot 4, but I think this one we are just going to leave in Godot 3 and just complete in Godot 4. Yes, that is definitely still possible, Smitner, both in Godot 4 and in 3.5. I've actually been playing around with that in Godot 4 today, because I'm actually working on making the editor work in VR, where I want the editor on the desktop to just be the normal editor, and then in your headset you have a secondary view. So yeah, that still works. You just need to use a sub viewport instead of a viewport. So in Godot 4 we have viewport subclass into window and sub viewport. Window being an actual new open window, which is not possible in Godot 3, and sub viewport really being what viewport was in Godot 3. So, all right, let's see if this actually works. All right. So get collider, null instance. Why is that so? Why won't it grab? Okay, well, that explains why it wasn't auto-completing. God, I hate those things. Just a typo. All right. Oh, we're crashed again. So what is it not happy about this time? Previously freed instance on a null. Okay. All right, so we need to how do you check that again? There is a special node valid. I always forget what that is called. So that's the problem. Actually, because the problem right now is that our intersect width is still pointing to the menu option, because again, it also captures the menu option. However, that no longer exists. So what I need to do here is if intersects with and intersects with, and I'm not sure if it is, there is another function to check the validity of a pointer, but because is valid is for a reference, if I recall correctly. So I was looking here, there is another. That's the strings. Well, let's see if this fixes it or not. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's all. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't like. It's not is valid, it's something else. Go check. Is instance valid? There we go. Okay, let's see if it can indeed find that. Yep. There we go. Why couldn't it find that before? That's so dumb. All right. Ooh. Okay. I'm not quite sure what's happened here. Yeah. Somehow my hands were connected to each other. Okay, that is looking way better. We have our particles working there. We have our particles working there. We have our particles working there. But we don't have our game loop working. Okay. Oh, it's much darker in the screen. Okay. Well, we're getting closer. So let's think. Construct. We set collide with areas on. Oh, hold on. How does that actually work? I think that just communicated to the raycast itself. Yeah, so our raycast is collide with areas is on. Okay. That's cool. Let me think. How big? No, that's not the one I want. That's what testing. Oh, I close that. Okay. Worlds. Test level. Testing. Room. How big are you? 2, 4, 6. Well, just in case that is the problem. never know. Actually, one good way to also test that is if you go to test level, make it a spawn point. Not really that far away. There you go. Right. What else could it be? Okay. Going to detect is on layer 20. Okay. Make sure these things are saved. Scripts. Let's go back to our mouse handler. Just want to confirm something. Yep, so that's just on our layers. So checking all layers, that's fine. Oh, the only layer that is not selected is layer 20, which is exactly the layer that we want. It is selected on our right hand, and I was testing it with my right hand controller. So is that our problem? I don't know. One thing that I'm going to add our show target as well, because that will show us what we are colliding with, if anything. Alrighty. Come on. Wake up. See, now we can see that we're not colliding with any of that because there's no collision shapes. So here we are. All right. We're colliding with something, but okay. Okay, so it is because we have lots of detection areas and stuff. I think that we are supposed to turn a few things off that we do not want to collide with. Now that is going to be interesting. Let's have a look at what we have named everything. We've got our environment. And our UI is 20. Okay. Environment. What is part of our environment, I wonder? I think we need to turn off friendly and enemy. Let's start with those. Now, one thing which would be really nice is if our collision shapes actually had different colors. Okay, so we have all these boxes. So if you look at a box, we have a pointer detect, that's 20. And we have a character, okay, which is layer 1. So this is a problem. Well, a problem that's easily solved. Because what we're simply going to do is we're going to say, you know what? We're only going to detect our UI. And I'm going to do the same thing here. We're just going to work on our UI. But the problem, of course, is that that UI is in the wrong layer. So we're going to put that in 20 as well. And that should make sure that Come on, let's go tracking. There we go. This is again my problem if we are not tracking it. All right, look at that. That is so cool. Okay. So we can now make our character move. Except that I haven't implemented a button yet. Now the other thing, which I think would be really cool, is if we orientate the numbers on the floor so that we can actually read them. Because they obviously are based on the camera being over there. Now the other thing is, do we want to say this close to our cat, or do we want to get much further away? That's the other thing that's going to be interesting. And do we want to be able to move around? That's the other thing that's going to be interesting as well. Still, I think this is already pretty damn cool. So let's go and make our selection. Alrighty. Okay. So that's a good one. Because obviously that is part of our dungeon logic as well. Part of our game loop? How does that work again? So our mouse handler is purely doing our pointer. All right. Where would that be? Don't think in global states. Don't need you anymore. Don't need you. Don't need you. Don't need you. So is that in here? No, that just creates our maze. All right. Oh, it is in here. So the global state is in input. Think. Let's see. All right, so we already have okay. So regardless of whether our left or right, because we are moving to that one, which is fine. We are simply going to send that to our world base. And we are simply going to perform action class. Actually, perform action on click. Go back here, and we simply do current scene dot perform action on click, which means that I also want to double check, do we have a current scene? And let's also do that here. Okay. So this makes a good reason again that we do want a base level class at some point. Because here we're now going to go back to our global state. Where is my global? I keep losing that. So here. Really? Yeah, perform action. I'm just going to call that the same here. That's pretty cool. So here we're just going to say if current cell, then do that. Cool. And that means that we can simply call that on global state in our test level. So global state dot go. Alrighty. Let's see if that will work. Hi, AC. There's a lot of them. So you can, yeah, there's lots of stuff to watch. Hi, Seven. How you going? All right. I really have to remember to put this on before I start playing. But let's see. Oh, well. Create a free instance again. Okay. First of all, I want to make that end. What was that again? What did we use it last time? Is instance valid? Let's make sure we do it like this. Now it should be valid because we loaded it. Currency, this is valid. Adding it there, so we should have a currency. We don't have had a problem with the fact that it and then that's probably why, because I did currency and then it's probably calling a function instead of what I thought it was called. Okay. Oh, there we go. Well, I'm not doing anything right now. So, no. Okay. What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? What I'm missing is I got two of these. And that because my first one, I think that at which is, of course, it's the wrong language, probably screwed it up. That's what my guess is. Well, that's what I hope anyway. I need to put a button for recentering. No, still not a lot. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? What are we doing wrong here? Well, the debugger is saying a few things. Maybe that's something. Hmm. No, we don't have any release sales, so that's not coming from here. I'm sure where those are coming from, but I don't think that has anything to do with. Yeah, that's normal. So. What are we doing wrong? All right, let's just go and place a breakpoint there and see if we can find a reason why. Unless we are clearing current scene somewhere accidentally. Definitely possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, doesn't want to send it. Don't know why. Yeah, the breakpoint hit a little bit earlier than I wanted. No, currency is definitely not there because we're not getting any breakpoint action. Oh, I'm stuck. All right. Okay. So, are we clearing current scene backs in somewhere? Okay, we're loading a new scene, current scene, add child current scene connect, load scene, current scene start. And now if current scene start, that's in our beginning. Hand controller, right hand controller. That's on button press right hand controller. That's on button press left hand controller. This is very confusing. I am overlooking something. Well, it's a good old-fashioned sprint debugging. There must be something simple that we're missing. Okay, right hand click. Spatial 1 4. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, my tracking is suddenly stopped. Deleted object, deleted object. So how the hell did that get deleted? Because obviously we still have our scene, so how did that end up getting deleted? Is it to do something with this? I wonder about that. So if it's should create a new scene, add the scene there. I'm gonna do something really crazy. I was gonna spam the heck out of everything. And it's immediately deleted objects. So here it's good. Oh, the scene. What? That would suggest that it has both in there somehow. How does that work? I have a feeling that it might have something to do with this. Current scene, world base. I'm not going to make that an unready var. Instead, I'm actually going to do this on world name. It shouldn't make any difference, but the other thing is I'm going to do current scene now. And this might actually be the real fix. What? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, very well spotted, RNG. That was really done. That creates a new variable with the same name. That is absolutely going to be our real issue. All right, I am pretty confident that we found it. Thank you for that. That was well spotted. Okay. Ha! Advanced. Okay, well, did something. But of course, I don't have a way yet to follow her, so it's actually pretty cool. It's also not running as well as I would like, but I wonder if that's where one of our dragons is. There must be another dragon over there because I see the little belly going up and down. So yeah, I'm wondering if our particles might have something to do with it not being as fast as I hoped, or if it's got something to do with the lighting. I don't know. Yes, definitely the shadows are giving me a hard time. That's okay. We only just started on this journey. All right, so I gotta think about a way that is nice for us to follow where she's going. But it is pretty cool that we can control it. Which light is the one that's... Because I'm losing a light here. Is there? Must be over here. Oh yeah, that one. Okay. I call that a good start. Oh, I'm still logging as well. Holy crap. Yeah, that's probably... Where am I still doing prints? Removed most prints, didn't I? I've got a print still somewhere. Let's close you. Must be here. Nope. Here. Nope. I want to remove that pass. That's no longer needed. Where am I still printing? This is going to be finding a needle in a haystack, probably. That's good. Yeah, because that's definitely still printing somewhere. But where? I guess. Search in files. Print. Fine. Oh. Yeah. That's probably got something to do with it. Yeah, I could probably do a fog thing at some point. I definitely need to get rid of that one because I don't need that anymore. That was made for testing. All right. Let's see if that makes any difference. Feels a little bit better, but not much. Let's see. And again, there's also a lot of options to just. Yep. So, next thing to do. What time are we leaving? It's almost 12. So I think that that's where I'm going to leave this. Because I think the next step is to think about a way to have the camera follow the person. Now, I don't want to just fluidly move the camera or the position of the player really, because that is going to lead to nice little motion sickness issues. So I don't think that's a very good idea. So I'm thinking about, well, I guess I need to create a fade in and fade out effects. Because then it just becomes a fade out, pre-position, fade in. And then we need to start working on the UI around the player. Let's see. Next turn, next character. So we should actually have a when it's finished moving. Where's my character? Player character. Where's the main? We can of course go like, oops. All right, player character. So already in there. Okay, game, unset character. Okay, so here we have finish move. Probably want to add a signal here that we can react to that. Yeah, let's add that in here. It's actually extends characters. So where is my? Oh, because that is here. Right. So I definitely want that to be over here. No, actually, I'm going to do that in here. No, I actually do think that I want that just to be on the player character. Finished. Yeah, okay. What do we do? Do it like this. Finished. All right. Because we can eventually do that. So our UI, how does our UI? Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Ah, okay. Maybe I won't do it like that then. Because that would have been dangerous because that already moves into the next character. Yeah, I need to think some more about that. I'm not going to solve that tonight. Well, in this case, I'm not removing the camera from the player because I'm in VR. So I actually need to reposition the VR player. The trick is to do it at the right moment. And I'm actually thinking, wouldn't actually even be that bad to just do it on next character. Because that will go and call back into my test level. Because I get my set character here. So so basically what we could do here for our transform is character dot transform. Now I want that global transform. There we go. Then what I want to do is transform dot origin is transform dot basis dot z times we're going to put the camera behind the player. Actually, I'm going to say character transform. No. For let's just origin. I'm going to remember that one. I'm actually going to make a var distance is, let's make that 3. Let's call that distance from player. Here we go. Then we're going to do transform dot origin dot y plus is right. No, actually it's not. I'm just going to call it offsets. Put them 2 higher. Now before we do that, I want to do a transform look okay, so transform is transform looking at character pulse. Okay, then we offset it, and now position player. Oh, and we don't have the player here. Okay, so I need to change the way that works. Let's go and say var player ARVR origin. It's gonna go player. I'm just gonna remember player is p player. That way, I can simply say position player on the transform that I just created. Let's see if that works. Now, obviously, oops. Fade in, fade out, or the other way around. We will figure that out, because the whole trick there is that we don't want to create motion sickness. Still need to figure out what that bloody flashing issue is. All right. Ooh, we are hitting a breakpoint. Let me guess. That needs an up. Yet, yeah. So why isn't that just default up? All right. So interestingly, in that, is that this isn't called for the first time. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Ooh, that's another thing that we need to solve is don't place the camera inside of something. But Other than that, our positioning is working. But it works the moment that she finishes moving. Yeah, I definitely need to work on performance at some point. All right. Okay, now the other thing is, I was expecting to be behind her, so... This time I'm positioned correctly. Hmm. Oh, one more. Okay, so okay, why is that not working? Oh, I know why. That is because the character, we're actually not rotating the character, we're rotating the pivot. So that is why we're not always behind her. Okay. Um, where am I doing that? Doing tween move character? Is that... Oh, hold on. That's in my that's in my base class, isn't it? Character. Yeah. So here we're rotating our pivot. Let's just do that here. Say func gets character global transform. Return pivot dot global transform. Okay. This little... All right. Let's see if that works. I still need to put a button that we can recenter. All right. Oh, got attacked by a dragon. There's 2 dragons there. All right. So now we're facing a different way, and we are actually getting in the right place. Okay. All right. Dead end. It's a dead end, a dead end, a dead end. Oh, look at that. Our little dragons came closer. Now I can't really see where I'm going. So whoa, the dragons are really getting closer. I'm going to crash in a minute because they're still fighting me. I think I'm going to put my player higher up. Boom. Yeah, we did. Okay, and with that, our player is dead. We go to there, and then, oh no, we are gone. Now, one thing that we have now learned is instance valid target. Definitely gonna have to put that in more places. There we go. All right. Cool. So eventually we'll need to then obviously quit out, but that'll come. Okay. I think what I want to do here, go a bit further away, and I want to make sure that we're above our dungeon, so we're looking down into our dungeon. Which of course doesn't happen on our first play, but now we are in the right position. That's actually kind of cool. We can sort of better see what's going on. Again, I also think that we need to add some controls that we can actually move around the dungeon ourselves and sort of look around so that we can better strategize where we want to go. Because obviously we're not always in the right position to control our character. Okay. And yes, eventually I'll have to look at how to solve the performance issues. All right, that is really where I'm going to leave it tonight. It is getting pretty late over here. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the progress tonight. I am not 100% sure yet whether I'm going to keep to keeping this third person. I'm definitely going to have to do a bunch of testing to see where the slowdowns are coming from, whether that is because of our CPU particles, whether that is because of our lighting, whether it is something completely different. And again, if it is because of our lighting, we'll change the way the lighting works. There are a lot of possibilities there. So, all in all, I'm pretty happy about our progress so far. It has been pretty good. I think next time we continue on this, I'm going to start looking at fleshing out the UI more. Maybe need seeing about fade in, fade out. Probably change the structure a little bit so that the logic in our test level that actually needs to be shared with all levels is in a class that we can inherit. So yeah, all in all, I think that we're getting closer and closer to actually also having our characters attack something. We also want to figure out properly what the end of the game is, if all the characters are dead, so that we go back to our main screen. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. So, thank you guys all for joining me. I hope it was entertaining. I'll see you guys next time I stream, hopefully in 2 weeks. So, till then, bye.